What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former WBA welterweight world champion, Cuban star boxer, Yordenis Ugas, 27 wins, 5 losses, no draw, 12 wins by way of knockout. One time in his career, he was knocked out and stopped, 36 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Yordenis Ugas is coming off of a dominant performance loss to now unified 3-belt WBC, WBA, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be top 2 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence, Yordenis Ugas, they fought April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, in which Errol Spence completely dominated and broke down Yordenis Ugas. He eventually broke Yordenis Ugas' rib, nose, and orbital bone, okay, to become the 3-belt unified welterweight champion. Yordenis Ugas, is saying that he's glad he could be a part of making the biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently today between Errol Spence and a guy that Yordenis Ugas fought multiple times in the amateurs, in undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no losses, no draws, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach, a 74-inch arm reach, excuse me. So Yordenis Ugas, he beat Terence Crawford in the amateurs, and he fought Errol Spence. So he's saying he's glad he could be a part, of this fight, and feels like, he helped bring this fight to fruition, right? Which is, pretty strange because you lost badly to Errol Spence as a professional, and you beat Terence Crawford. That was in the amateurs, okay? That was not in the pro rankings. So, a lot of fighters have a lot of success against a lot of guys in the amateurs. That don't mean it translates to doing it in the professionals, okay? So, nonetheless, you did have Brian Bomac McIntyre. He stated that, Yordenis Ugas is a very, very tough, fighter, very tough customer, and that, he's very tricky, he's very big, he's very, technically sound. And he felt Bomac, who was the trainer and manager of Terence Crawford, he felt like Yordenis Ugas would be, a difficult out, for anybody, okay, including, Terence Crawford, right? So he said that Yordenis Ugas is a tough matchup for anybody, right? And Yordenis Ugas, he dominated, shockingly, right? He dominated legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. He dominated Manny Pacquiao, right? And in dominating Manny Pacquiao, he garnered a lot of attention, right? A lot of people started to take notice of Yordenis Ugas, right? He comes from that Cuban school of boxing, right? He comes from, a very technically sound school of boxing with, Ishmael Salas, so he's very well versed, so Yordenis Ugas, he had this to say. He said, quote, "Good to hear that Spence and Crawford is about to be announced. I feel a part of this fight. I have fought against both. I had the belt and I put it on the line. I always said that 2022 was the year to have undisputed champion at 147 for the first time. Great fights, great fighters, great fight." Okay. So, Yordenis Ugas, he feels like you said, he feels like he's a part of it. And he said that it's time, it's about time that this fight gets announced. And it happens because, essentially it's just too long. And we need to have an undisputed welterweight world champion. And I feel where Yordenis Ugas is coming from, right? Because, the politics within the sport of boxing stand in the way of big fights way too much, far too often. Okay, you have the politics being a major part of these fights, and finally, hopefully, nothing is set in stone, but it looks like November 12th or November 19th is the date that they're looking to have this fight take place. And so with that said, this is a huge fight. This is a fight where, it's the biggest fight in boxing, and it couldn't, once it happens, it couldn't have happened at a better time. Both guys are at the apex. Both guys, neither guy's on the downslide. Neither guy, took a loss. Neither guy has, been in fights where you like, well, this fighter took a lot out of this fighter. If anything, they were taking a lot out of their opponents. Okay, not the other way around. So I think that they're in their prime right now. I think that both fighters undefeated. Terence Crawford has stopped 10 of his last 11 opponents or something of that magnitude. Errol Spence is just dominated Yordenis Ugas. And again, Yordenis Ugas, he proved his worth. He proved his stay in the fight with Manny Pacquiao, but not only just the fight with Manny Pacquiao, when he took on two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Shawn Porter, who's retired, future Hall of Famer. And it was a questionable win for Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter won the fight against Yordenis Ugas, but many people questioned, did Shawn Porter deserve to get the win in that fight with Yordenis Ugas? Many people thought that Yordenis Ugas won that fight against Shawn Porter. So, when he fought against Shawn Porter, people thought he won. When he fought against Manny Pacquiao, he dominated that fight, and he dominated a undefeated Omar Figueroa. So, and he had some questionable losses early in his career. So with that said, that was a huge win for Errol Spence. And the fact that Errol Spence had that huge win in stopping Yordenis Ugas, oddly enough, right, in the 10th round, and Terence Crawford, the biggest win of his career, stopping Shawn Porter in the 10th round of his fight, right? Again, like I said, it's not happening at a better time. It couldn't have happened at a better time, right? And with that said, hopefully it gets made. The fight with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao was dragged out. It was too long. It happened way too late. And because it happened so late, the product in the ring. Now, I'm one to believe that Floyd Mayweather was going to nullify and dominate Manny Pacquiao anyway. He was going to nullify his left hand. He was going to neutralize Manny Pacquiao, what he did great. And he was going to take all of that away. He was going to be a defensive first fighter. He was going to be a counterpuncher, and he was going to dominate Manny Pacquiao. And that's exactly what happened. And I think it would have been the same case if it happened 5 years prior to when it did take place, because styles make fights. So, but the fact that people even think, see, if it would have happened 5 years earlier, there would have been no questions, and there wouldn't have been no doubt that if Manny Pacquiao was younger and didn't get, now, because remember, Manny Pacquiao got brutally knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez. That did happen. So if that didn't happen, right, and it was 5 years earlier, would it have been a different fight? We're all going to just speculate, right? Because we can't turn back the hands of time. There's no time machine. So we can't go back in time and say, well, let's let them have their fight 5 years earlier to see what it really would have been. There's no way to figure that out. There's no way to see, no way to know. So the best thing we can do is avoid having those question marks and having those doubts. The best way to do that is to make sure Terence Crawford and Errol Spence fight right now. Okay, like we had Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns September 16th of 1981 for Undisputed with 2 belts, WBA and WBC, right? The fight lived up to the billing. There was no doubt as to, oh, well, Tommy Hearns was too old, Sugar Ray Leonard was too old, it happened too late, right? Those questions aren't there for that fight because they fought in their prime. And so we're teetering on that, seeing as though Terence Crawford is going to be 35 in September. And if we continue to wait and allow time to escape, well, guess what happens? Now suddenly we're going to start to talk about, is Terence Crawford too old? Did he start to show slippage if he loses the fight, right? This fight was being talked about before Errol Spence suffered that horrific car accident. So now is the time. So I agree with Yordenis Ugas when he says it's about time, right? But he says that he feel like he's part of it. I don't agree with him with that. You was a part of the storyline, as far as, you know, you write a story on, you know, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford and how it came to fruition. You know, yeah, you're gonna be included in the storyline, but, you know, feeling like you're a part of it, I wouldn't want to be that feeling of that part of it. But that's all I got for y'all. Let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for you. Peace.